Like I said, I could do the news without you if I wanted
What?
to. I don't need you.
I'm out of here.
I'm trying to give you a reason to be here.
Damn it, I'm leaving.
Rod, do me a favor. Go across the street and get a potted plant. I want to put it in his seat.
Hey.
And we'll just
They
pretend.
don't sell potted plants at 7-Eleven.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
You and your crummy comic books. That's all you ever think about.
Oh, you should put that speech on tape.
Hello, Chicago. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Got a drink to that?
Welcome to Alternate Reality.
I don't know about it.
No, I didn't see it.
He never watched Bozo.
No, I mean I was
those.
there.
I went actually.
He spent noon on weekdays asking Mommy when Jubilee Showcase is going to run.
No, I didn't watch it.
Mommy, when are they going to run Jubilee Showcase?
I watched Bozo.
Why don't you watch Bozo? Because I'm waiting for Jubilee Showcase.
He didn't watch Bozo. He was reading Dickens.
Actually, my mom watched very little television at all.
Oh my God, you poor sad child.
I watch TV.
Bo, tell us about your depravity.
Depravity.
Yeah, your depravity.
That's another podcast.
Well, how you were deprived growing up.
We weren't deprived. We had TV, but I spent most of my time watching TV. My mother watched, Ed Sullivan and all that.
You know what he watched?
What?
He watched the morning movie with Ione.
Oh, I did too. Are you kidding?
Who?
The morning
Ione.
movie with Ione.
No.
Yeah, morning movie with Ione.
I watched the Magic
She
Door.
would sit there.
I
She
remember
would
the
sit
Magic
there in
Door.
her underwear, or whatever the hell it was, like she was in bed answering this phone that looked like it was right out of
See,
Green
Princess
Acres
phone.
thing. Yeah.
The morning movie with Ione. Oh, come
I don't
on. Now
remember
you're
that at
hitting a nostalgia wave here.
Well, of course we're.
We live for nostalgia.
That's what the alternate reality is all about.
Who cares
Mindless,
about today?
pointless, stupid nostalgia, and nobody gives a
And
rat's
we're
ass
just the
about.
folks that bring it to you.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comicbookman here, back once again at the alternate reality, and I'm being joined
We
today
are?
by, as they would say in Mad
Youths.
Magazine, the usual gang of youths.
Usual gang of suspects.
We got with us Rod Flash.
I resemble that statement. Sir.
Hello, Rod.
Hello.
We got good old JR.
Hey, listeners.
Hey, listen. And we've got the one, the only, Bocepheus.
Ow!
Hey, Bo. And this is an all-news edition of the Alternate
News?
Reality. Yes. As usual, it's all news featuring the three most important things in the world. Comic book news,
Drinking chocolate milk.
media news, wrestling news, and if we have time,
Yes.
we'll talk about Bruce Rauner drinking chocolate milk.
Wow.
If we have time at the end. And
Newsiest news I've ever
Bosco
heard.
around
Yes,
here?
the newsiest
Bosco.
news you ever heard.
We need some Bosco.
And let's start with indie comic book news. Image Expo 2018. God, are they still doing that?
Every year.
Are there
Why?
Are there rides for the kids?
Yes, sir.
No. Basically, it's a
Rob Liefeld will be there drawing pictures of the kids with barrel chests and no
guns.
feet
And guns.
and no feet and big bandoleros. Are
It's their own personal con.
their own personal con. Marvel used to do a con back in the early 70s, didn't they? Marvel Con or something? I remember a couple of convention books from that. I don't know if DC ever did one.
No.
So anyway, why should anyone give a rat's ass about Image Expo 2018? This is up to you to make us care.
Because this is when Image announces everything they're doing for the year, and it's usually a whole bunch of stuff. I counted about 25 books.
For the
We're
year?
not going through
It's
all.
only
no,
2 a month.
New books.
Oh.
New books. We're not,
They have new books all the time.
Yeah, we're not. No, but they usually basically make this big announcement for this all the way to the end of the year. Now we're not going to talk about all 25 because
Why not?
we don't have an hour and a half to talk about all 25. So this is what we get. We get the return of Bloodstrike for all you Rob Liefeld fans. Yes, Bloodstrike's coming back.
Thank God, I miss Bloodstrike. Don't you miss Bloodstrike?
No, you
I
don't.
don't know
No
who
one
that
misses
is.
Bloodstrike.
Killer
You
that
should.
can't be killed.
You were
No, I
working
do.
at a
I
You
know,
were
I
working
know,
when it
I
came
know
out,
what
yeah.
Bloodstrike is. Yeah, I had to
Dead
go to the
Rabbit
doctor
from
for one.
Jerry Dugan and John McCrae.
What is it?
Dead Rabbit.
Dead Rabbit.
It's about a
Bo, what is Dead Rabbit?
about a serial killer. Terrible
Oh,
thing.
I thought it was about a dead rabbit.
Death of Glory from Rick Remender and Bengal. Yes, Rick Remender's got another book
The
coming out.
Death of Glory?
Death of Glory.
Is-
Death or Glory.
Oh, Death or Glory. I was going to say that's not the old
It's like-
Glory character.
It's another crime. No, that's actually who owns that Glory character? No, that's one of the. That's in the
That's
Liefeld
the
box.
Is that
for him
Larson?
to use if he
Larson.
feels like? Yeah, if he feels
That's
like
his
using
Wonder
it.
Woman ripoff.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How dare
I'm
you.
sorry.
Homage!
Homage.
Homage!
Homage.
And Todd McFarlane announced like a bunch of stuff. He's a medieval Spawn Witchblade crossover. God, I'm looking forward to that. Spawn Kills Everyone 2. I didn't pick up the first one.
I hear they have an sale on razor blades.
Right. He's got a new ongoing called Misery, which is Todd cooking into the Me Too movement.
Not vertically, horizontally.
Horizontally?
I
It's
can't
a little
say
rougher. How about Spawn has a Moons Over Miami?
That's next. And a Sam and Twitch limited series, because the movie apparently, even though we don't want it to happen, is apparently going to happen.
Who's doing the Sam and Twitch limited series?
Brian
Michael Bendis is coming back to do it.
What's interesting about all the stuff that Todd mentioned, he's not drawing any of them.
No.
So it's coming out on time.
Well, the Sam and Twitch limited series, all 8 issues are already done.
Yeah.
So they won't be late.
Well, who's writing it?
Well, he's keeping it a secret. Like it matters.
Maybe it's an old Brian Bendis inventory story.
Oh, nah. He wouldn't have that kind of dance. So.
You don't think so?
No.
He doesn't like the lawsuits.
He'd get sued.
Again.
Right.
When you lose $9
And that was how many
million
years ago? That was so long ago. You hold on to script from that long, really?
Is Spawn still the #1 comic book in the world?
Oh, yeah. According to him, yeah.
Todd McFarlane's been writing Spawn for a while now. You wouldn't know it by the book sales or anybody not caring, but he has actually been the writer on that book for a while now.
They've been going up to almost up to 300, right?
Yeah, I keep waiting to hear the announcement that they're going to cancel it at 300.
Then what would Todd do for?
He's got that fine $15 million budgeted movie coming out. He's
Yeah.
not going to cancel that book.
Yeah, he's got this fine.
That's going to be great.
Under budget film, which is going to have nobody famous in it and everything else.
So, is there anything else we need to know about the Image Expo?
Oh.
Well, wait. You're supposed to go to the Image Expo because it's going to tell you all about these books.
Yes.
We just did. Save your money.
No.
Don't go.
That's why we have the internet.
It already happened for one.
Oh, well. Okay.
He'll be posting on the website the full announcement of all the books, and it's a pretty lengthy little piece of material there.
So if you got some time to kill.
If you got a couple hours to kill, believe me, it took a while to cull that crap down to readability.
Listen, whatever you might have thought about the last 5 minutes of this show,
yes,
it was 10 times more entertaining than the Image Expo was.
I'm assuming they have snacks for this.
They have cotton candy?
You never know.
Balloons for the kids?
Some hotel on the West Coast where they do this.
Comics of Tomorrow?
Yes.
Comics of Tomorrow.
Yes. Remember when Image did that?
Yeah.
Images of Tomorrow. Images of Tomorrow. That's what it was. A book would be on like the 7th or 8th issue, and the next issue was like number 25.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be the 25th issue down the road, and then we will catch up to it, and then magically around issue 23, 24, the storylines will butt up into the storyline that we did like 4 years earlier.
And most people went, what the hell?
And by the time they got to it, nobody cared, especially the creators.
Yeah. Is Image United coming out still? Is it still?
Todd's still working on Image United. They're still waiting for his story. Staying with indie news, over at Valiant, which by the way has new owners. Which we talked about that
previously.
Previously we talked about that. Andy Diggle.
Yes.
Andy Diggle is taking over a Shadow Man series.
Yes.
Now they're doing a Shadow Man right now with Matt Kent. Isn't it Kent?
That's a limited series.
But isn't that supposed to be like setting the table for this this thing that Diggle's got?
There is a loose connection. Diggle is going to work on it. He says he's already got a 2-year plan for this book. So he's already got 2 years of stories written out already. Every arc will have a different artist, and he won't be using Master Dark a lot. So basically, it'll be interesting for a change.
Well, what was wrong with Master Dark?
Because he was like the Joker. He showed up every 4 issues.
Yeah, overused.
You got someone good, you use him.
He wasn't that good.
Use him anyway. That's all we got.
He was that half-naked guy running around throughout like 5 or 6 issues.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Why is Diggle going over to Valiant? I talked about this a couple of news shows back, where I was saying that the big problem with Valiant is
no big name creators.
No big name creators. And now while Diggle is not like at the top of the list, he is up there. No. He is up there. He is a name, and he does write good stories, and he's a good writer. So how did they get a hold of him?
Diggle's been working for a whole bunch of independent people since this point. He's been working over at Dynamite for the James Bond books. He's apparently a gun for hire.
Yeah. Well, that's the type of people that Valiant should be trying to attract to work on their properties.
Yeah, somebody with a name.
Okay. Staying with news for comics, moving over to DC. DC's doing a young adults line. DC Zoom.
You work in a comic shop. You're supposed to know this crap.
This is what's known as seeding the question so you can answer it, dumbass. Yes, I understand.
He has no idea about this line. He just doesn't want to admit it.
Okay, folks, from this point on, just stop off at the store. I'll tell you whatever you need to know. Because Captain Obvious over here, Captain Obvious over here doesn't know crap.
We just gave the audience a peek behind a curtain, and it was ugly.
It was. I hate you. Bo,
Yes?
why don't you tell us about DC Zoom and DC Ink? Because otherwise, why are you here?
Those are books for someone other than us.
He's here for the free
Yeah,
biscuits.
why the hell are you here otherwise?
Kids, and it's a book for kids. You got Batman Tales, Once Upon a Crime from the Little Gotham people. Batman Overdrive from Shea Fontana. Super Sons from novelist Ridley Pearson, which is a big get because he doesn't write comics. He writes crime novels. Superman of Smallville from Art Balthazar and Franco.
Okay.
And Superman Smashes the Khan from Gene Yang. Yes, Superman will be facing off against the Khan.
Well, good luck, DC. If you can tear the kids away from their phones.
No, this is
this is for little kids and teenagers and young adult people.
Yeah, good luck.
It's not written for anybody other than
Good
that. This is
luck.
what they're going for.
okay. I don't know how to break this to you, but I try to represent the audience in this little conflict
Yes.
we do here. So
Yes.
I'm asking you, golly, Bo, tell me a story.
Once upon a time,
Yeah.
in a
Tell me
galaxy far, far away.
Well, I understand in the news that maybe DC's doing young readers books. Could you
Yes,
tell us about that?
Yes, I just told you.
God, it's like
I'm
pulling.
going to editorialize here.
You know what's
It's not
great?
gonna happen.
It's still
Of
like
course, it's not going to sell.
not gonna happen.
But it's a noble attempt.
no. This is a kid. These are kids' books. So
Yeah, it's
I
a
mean,
noble
no, they're
attempt.
not going to sell huge numbers because they're kids' books.
They're actually
Look, the veiled attempt here by DC is to bring in new readers.
Yes.
And to get a new generation that's going to come in and pick up. And it's just not going to happen.
those new readers are reading comics on their phones.
Oh,
What is happening to the rest of the kids line? You know, the stuff based on animated series.
Well, that stuff will keep going.
Looney Tunes, Scooby Doo,
All this stuff will
Scooby Doo
continue
Team
on.
Up. All
These are actually like graphic novels. These aren't like mainstream.
Oh, these are
comics.
because
These are like-
these
yeah.
are the DC superhero girl books. that
Yeah,
they do.
yeah. Those
Oh,
are like
okay.
those.
Okay.
There's probably like about 17 of these things coming out. And it's run by Bobby Chase, so it's already got a Kiss of Death hooked up to it.
What's wrong with Bobby Chase?
No.
Again, this is me.
Her
seeding it.
time has passed a long time ago.
Why do you say that, Bo?
Have you ever met Bobby Chase?
Not recently. No, she hasn't been by the store.
She owes me $20, so I hate her.
No, she doesn't owe you $20.
Okay, it was 50.
Hey, JR.
Huh, what?
What's that smell?
I hate to tell you.
It smells fresh, doesn't it?
Tacos.
Yes, looks like somebody
It
just
smells something-
dropped it a little while ago.
It smells something fresh. You know what I think that means?
What could it be?
We're segueing into Marvel news now.
Wait a minute. I'm going to go on a rant with Marvel. I'm going to go on a rant. They don't get me started.
Marvel has come up with something fresh.
Yes.
A fresh start.
Yes, from
a
what I
new
understand,
beginning.
What I understand, it's the 7th reboot in 7 years, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, technically, it's not a reboot. It's actually
Oh, please.
it's legacy. It's just another word for legacy.
It's not Marvel now. It's all new Marvel now. It's all new, all great Marvel
And actually,
now.
that's what it is. It's Marvel now. It's just
cares?
Marvel now.
Who cares? It's a great place for readers to jump off.
No, they do that anyway.
they
You know,
know they
let's
did.
Oh no, we've already had that over the last 3 years.
Let's flash back to when I was but a wee lad.
Oh, you were wee lad.
Yeah,
I was
yesterday.
reading comic books.
Wait a minute. That's when you were Irish, weren't you?
Exactly. When I was reading comics, had every year the comics I read, if they were to have rebooted everything and started from
stop.
scratch,
You'd
I would
stop.
have bailed out
Stop.
right away.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be sitting here with you guys
Okay,
right now.
jump 40 years into the future, and now you're middle-aged, and you don't give a shit. You just want your books every week.
Where are my books?
Where are my damn books?
That's all you care about.
Well, great, but I mean, if you're reading these things to get invested in characters and to like the storylines, only to find out in a year's time it's all going to have the reboot button pushed again.
I wrote something about this to somebody on Facebook.
Oh my God! It was a long post. I read the whole thing. It was really, really long.
Here's the deal. We're going to get to the fresh news in a minute from Marvel. But here's the thing about Marvel's Fresh Start.
Although the books are not going to be called Fresh Start. It's not a header. It's still going to have the
Are they going to do a commercial with a housewife shaking out towels and sheets?
And Marvel books pop out.
Marvel's new fresh smell.
It's still going to have the legacy headers.
Actually, they could sell more comics if they scented the pages so you could tear them off and throw them in a
that would be
dryer.
kinda cool.
There you go, Marvel.
Marvel dryer sheets.
Marvel Dragons.
Fabric softness.
Throw it in.
I read it. Okay, we can do the laundry now.
Hey, this is Captain America Fresh.
Ooh, it smells like a picture.
As I've said umpteen times on this show before, the problem with Marvel wanting to diversify 3 years ago was they killed off the regular line in order to replace it with a diversified line, which meant all the old farts who come in here, and some of the millennials refer to.
You mean legacy readers?
Some of the millennials who refer to those folks, those readers, as old farts. Okay. What they fail to realize is those old farts are the ones keeping the industry going. They're the ones that come in every week, and they're looking for their Steve Rogers Captain America, their Tony Stark Iron Man, which you haven't had for 3 years, and they've bailed because where is my Tony Stark at? Where is my Bruce Banner? Where is my...
There?
Well, in the meantime, they've left. Thank you very much. And you know who hasn't shown up in the meantime? This audience that Marvel was chasing after that doesn't exist.
The millennials.
Yeah, the audience.
Because they're reading comics on their phone.
Oh, they're online talking about how wonderful it is that, Marvel's doing this, but they're not actually coming in buying anything.
And therein is the problem. Now, you guys remind me because names, I'm old and names don't come to my head.
Because you're an old fellow.
Exactly. Who wrote the Death of Gwen Stacy storyline?
Jerry Conway.
Jerry Conway. Words of wisdom from Jerry Conway. I read this years ago.
He said,
comics were, I hate to tell you guys this, he said basically, comics were meant to be read until you hit about the age of 17 or 18, and then you move on.
Yes.
They weren't meant to be read into your adult years, and what happened was comics took that on, and we've got these long 40-year storylines.
Yeah.
It's time to move on, and what happened is now in comics, that next generation isn't coming into comics, and it's just us guys. But
this has been the problem. We've been talking about this, you and me, and I've talked as best as I can with both. It's like talking to a brick. This has been going on for 20, 25 years. Okay, the industry, back when I ran the Comic Emporium 40 years ago, I wasn't seeing any kids coming in then buying comics, and the folks that were buying them then were in their 20s and 30s. Now they're in their 50s and 60s. They're still buying the comics, and the kids, generation after generation, haven't been in. And a lot of that is the fault of DC and Marvel because they weren't doing kids' books back then. They were going out of their way not to do kids' books back then because they saw that market of 20 to 30-year-olds as their prime market, and that's who they were writing to.
Right.
And they were trying to keep up with them, and they didn't give a rat's ass about kids coming up behind them. Marvel had no kids' books in the 80s up until the Star line. Okay, Marvel actually had an initiative in the mid to late 80s where they did Star Comics. That's when Barbie came on board, and they did stuff like Royal Roy, which is just a ripoff of Richie Rich, but a bunch of stuff,
ripoff.
Yes, the teddy bear thing, Care Bears, I think. Care Bears had one. Marvel did a whole bunch of that stuff where they tried to get a kids line. Apparently, it wasn't successful enough for them, and they killed it after about 5 years. DC's attitude has always been, we make comics out of the cartoons. Okay, whatever's a cartoon, they make a comic out of, and that's their kids line.
So it's skipped a generation or two now, and
a couple generations.
It's hard to play catch up, especially now. There's just so many other things that are vying for kids' time and attention.
There's a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Comics are the last thing they want to look at.
But anyway, back to that fresh new smell at Marvel.
But we digress. We digress.
Bo, tell us about Marvel's Fresh Start initiative.
It's not really an initiative. It's Marvel Legacy Part 2. It's the same thing.
I was really trying to dress this up. But yeah, tell us about how it's the same old crap in a brand new bag.
Lipstick on a pig.
It's the same thing. What you're going to get is you're going to get new creators on. You're going to get big name creators on books. So you've got Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness doing Avengers, which has
basically all of the Marvel movie characters in the Avengers.
It's all, and because that's what people.
Marvel makes movies.
Yeah, and they're looking at the Marvel movie audience. So you've got them
News
doing
to
that.
Me.
You've got Johnny Cates and Ryan Stegman doing Venom. You're going to have Ty Nishiko's on Captain America. You're apparently getting the Fantastic Four back.
Really? Are they coming back?
That's a June thing. Yeah, if you look at when the previous shows up, there's a lot of Fantastic Four material in there.
Okay.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff's coming up, but it's not a new thing. It's legacy. We were leading this already.
And the legacy numbering
will continue. Right, it's not going away.
Marvel's going to do what they've done in the past when they wanted to get to the legacy numberings for an anniversary. Yeah. They're going to have 2 sets of numbers on the cover. Here's the new number 1, and underneath it'll be issue number 942 or something, or whatever it is.
So that's where you get whatever book it is. That's where we're going to
so then issue 2 will be 943, but both numbers will be on there, which is what they should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
So put the number on there somewhere, as small and as tiny as you want, but so if an old fart, quote unquote, can find it.
That'd be me.
No, but nowhere to put it in the collection.
Yeah, you can do number 1, you do the slash, and you put the legacy number on there. Yeah. That's how you're going to do it. That's how you do the cover.
So when they do the small indica on the inside of the book, is it going to say volume number, so-and-so, parentheses number?
I don't know.
See, this is a...
Just go by what goes on the cover. Most people don't crack the covers.
Go to the cover and read that part of the book. I don't even look at that part of the book. I look at the art and the story. I don't look at the stuff.
I can't even imagine how complicated this makes the Overstreet price guide.
Oh, they're probably killing themselves. They probably don't even put the book out anymore.
That's probably why they're
I remember I was talking about the headache of them going the whole legacy route to begin with. It was like, okay, we lost these old guys in here, so let's go try to bring them back in here and say, this is what's happening in such and such book. It goes, I'm a Marvel zombie. I told you I was an old fart.
Okay, that's going to do it for comic book news. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to hit media news. You want to do media news next, Bo, or do you want to do wrestling? It's up to you.
It's in order. I sent you the format. What are you asking
I understand, but I'm just wondering, where are you at right now? How are you feeling? Are you feeling like wrestling, or are you feeling like media? Because you know what?
I feel like?
We can change the order of this on a dime.
It doesn't matter to me, but if you're going to do wrestling, I can take a nap.
Wrestling is last. That's why it's last.
But then we got to wake him up for the Rorschach test.
He'll be fine to show it.
Hey folks, Comicbookman here. Most people don't know this, but I got my start in comics retail on February 20th, 1978, when I became the store manager of the Comic Book Emporium. 16 years later, I opened Alternate Reality on August 20th, 1994. Like Superman's penchant for double L's, it seems the 20th has always been an important part of my life. I respect that heritage, which is why we have a Founders Day sale on the 20th of each month here at the store. Every 20th, stop by and you'll save 20% off all of your purchases, all day long, only at Alternate Reality. Okay, media news. I guess we decided we're doing media news. Daredevil Season 3 from Netflix. Yes. What's going to happen in Daredevil Season 3? Tell me Punisher's going to be in it, because Daredevil Season 2 sucked right after Punisher. Right after Punisher left that series, around issue, what was that, episode 8 or 9?
8.
Yeah, the rest of it was right downhill into the crapper.
No Punisher in Daredevil Season 3.
Oh, that's going to be a lost cause.
He's got his own show to do. He doesn't have time. But you are going to get Vincent D'Onofrio's coming back as a Kingpin. Because they're doing...
Of course he is. He's the only one anyone cares about.
Because they're doing Born Again.
Oh, Born Again.
Yeah, okay. All right. Might actually tune in.
So you're going to blow up the brownstone?
You could.
Cool.
Well, he doesn't... Well, what is that thing he lives in? It's kind of confusing. It looks like he lives on the top of a warehouse.
No.
Meanwhile.
So they're doing the whole Catholic aspect of Matt Murdock.
Yes, have you watched any of Netflix's Daredevil?
Yes, I have, sir.
Well, God, yeah, he's Catholic as hell.
Yeah. No, he's talking about the storyline. I remember the Born Again storyline.
Well, there's certain things you're not going to do. Karen Page is not going to sell his identity because she's not a crack whore.
Oh, not yet?
No. They're going to tweak it a little.
No, you have that to look forward to.
Yeah, you have to look forward to.
That'll be season 4.
That was classic. I remember that.
The crack horse season.
Yeah, crack horse season.
She sold his identity out to Wilson Fisk. I remember that one.
No, she sold it to get drugs, and Wilson Fisk ended up with it.
Yeah.
And killed the guy who gave the information.
Very exciting, isn't it?
I remember that one.
Well, at the end of Defenders, for those of us who slog, for those of us who slog all the way through to the very last scene of Defenders, the very last scene of Defenders is the very first scene in Born Again. Yeah. You have Matt in a bed after the events of the end of Defenders, where God only knows what happened. They're all in a
Something terrible happened.
They're in a hole and it blew up. and Matt winds up in a hospital.
Somehow he ends up in a hospital.
But sitting next to him is a nun.
Yes.
Who's supposed to be his mother.
His mom.
Yeah, his mom. The one character. Oh, big spoiler. Sorry, folks. Spoiler, everyone. That was his mom.
It's his mom. Well, no. The actress is been cast for his mom. That's just a nun.
Oh, that's just
a placeholder.
The placeholder.
Okay. So Matt may find out that his mother's a nun.
Yeah.
So Maggie, stay tuned.
Martha,
stay tuned. Yes, her name is Martha.
Martha? Wow.
Martha.
Oh, no. Synchronicity.
Yeah,
Martha.
Punisher show up. Why are you using that name?
Martha.
Okay. Moving on. James Cameron.
Yes.
James Cameron's going to start a new Terminator series.
James
really?
Cameron gets the rights
Tell me
to
more,
Terminator this year. It all belongs to him.
Why?
Because the rights reverted back
to him. He owns them. And so he's doing a new trilogy, which will be directed by the guy who did Tim Miller, who did Deadpool.
Because James Cameron has devoted the rest of his life
to
directing
Terminator
Avatar movies.
And Avatar.
He will not direct.
I have been hearing him doing Avatar movies the rest of his life for almost 10 years now. When's he going
to
get around to it?
I'm still waiting on that second one.
When did the last Avatar come out?
The second, third, and fourth.
By the time the next Avatar comes out, which is scheduled for next Christmas, it will have been 11 years since the first one came out.
And he's supposed to spend the rest of his life doing this? He's spending the rest of his life just getting to the second one.
He's filming 3 sequels.
They're doing all at the same time, shooting 2, 3, and 4 at the same time.
Right.
Brilliant.
Right. Filming as we speak, and I think he's in for a rude awakening when the second one opens. Because
you mean nobody will care anymore?
We forgot! After over a decade, who cares?
You know what cracks me up about Cameron is he's trying his best to either be Spielberg
Or Lucas.
Right. But you can't be both of them. So he's trying to flip flop back and forth.
He thinks Avatar is his Star Wars.
You think so?
Oh,
he's
no,
also
Spaceballs
producing
now.
the Fantastic Voyage remake of Guillermo del Toro.
Will that ever get off the ground?
Yes, it's next. It's probably his next film. And the Terminator story is apparently going to explain why the Terminator looks like Arnold, because Arnold's in it.
They did that already.
No, Linda Hamilton's in it.
No, the Terminator 3. They had
Terminator 3
They had
and
a
Genesis.
thing where they brought some cracker in, and it was Arnold, and that was who they patterned the Terminator
Those films.
face off.
Have you seen
never
Arnold lately?
Cameron's ignoring those.
Yeah, it never happened. Okay.
That was the best part of Terminator 3. He comes in and goes,
There's-
"How y'all doing?"
There was a list that we could have of things that do not need remakes, reboots, or sequels.
Terminator
The
should be
Terminator
in
is
the
on
list.
there. Alien is on there. Predator is on there. It's done.
Predator's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Those are
Yeah.
done.
Shane Black. is coming.
Predator reboot.
Yeah, Shane Black.
Already, that's our third Predator reboot.
Yes. The Thomas Jane's in it.
No more original ideas left.
You know, when I was in high school, you may remember this. When I was in high school, I had to read a book. I had to read a novel called The Most Dangerous Game. I don't know if you remember it or not, but everybody's got to read in high school. It's a very simple story. A boat crashes on an island. Yeah. There's a rich guy who lives on the island, and boats crash there on a regular basis, and he decides, hey, I'm a hunter. What better to hunt than this idiot who just crashed on my island? And so humans become the most dangerous game.
Yes.
Hence the name of the story. That's all Predator is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, but we've already got like 10 movies out of it so far.
Hey, well.
But they're all good.
No, they're not.
No.
Everyone's a winner.
Once you get past Predator 2 and the last one that Rodriguez did, the rest of them you can fix.
I'm not even. I mean, the first one to me is just marginal. It's okay. It's a way to kill an hour and a half, but it's no great shakes. It's certainly nothing to build a universe off of.
Well, it's not Shakespeare.
Well, the first Predator, like I said, was the most dangerous game. Yeah. That's all it was. It's the Predator hunting Arnold. Which one is smarter? Once you get past that,
there's nothing.
We've done the concept's done. We've done it.
Yeah, it's a hard choice.
Then it just becomes who we hunting this week.
Hunt of the week.
That's right.
Hunt of the week.
In 2 years, the
Kolchak,
Predator TV series.
the Predator hunter.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not pick on Kolchak. I watch it every night.
Kolchak.
Yeah, I do too.
I watch
He's
it.
on-
I'll be watching it. He'll be on tonight
Saturday
at
nights
12
at
o'clock.
midnight.
Yeah,
He was the
midnight. I'll be
same suit
watching
in every
midnight.
damn episode. Yeah.
I don't care about that.
Well, you know why he did that.
Yeah, I know why he did it, because they were in Chicago for 2 freaking days.
Yeah, they shot all their exteriors in Chicago for 2 days.
You know what's funny about
And they
that?
never changed his clothes
You
over
know
those
what's
2
funny
days.
about that? When you would yell out the addresses on there, I had a map and I kept going. There's no damn address that's 222 44
They used to do the same thing on the old Bob Newhart show.
I'm traveling north on 111th Street. Really? You going over to 7-Eleven?
Is when I'm going to work every day, I go past the building that's supposed to be where the INS.
The INS building. Yeah, I actually saw that for the first time. I said, oh, that's
I
the
go by
INS
that building every day.
Yeah.
Used to do the same thing on the old Bob Newhart show.
Yeah.
Came in town for a week, did a bunch
It's
of
like, yeah,
exteriors.
you got on the train and went, where the hell are you going?
Yeah, well, the difference with that, though, is once you get past the opening, like all MTM shows, they never left the sets.
No.
It's not like they ever went anywhere.
Right.
So it didn't matter.
God, wasn't his office was like the old St. Paul Federal building? or
Yeah,
something
it
like
was.
that? God, we're digressing again.
Another building I go by every once in a while.
It doesn't matter. We're only in 29 minutes.
Half the show is over.
Oh, my God.
Well, half the show is over, and we've only got one media story left before we get to wrestling. So and
We have time to kill? Is that
and
what
he
you
didn't have much here for wrestling.
Okay.
So yes,
We could actually start wrestling.
no. Our last media story.
Well, no, actually, we can have another. We can talk about the concept of Black Panther, but not talk about the movie.
Well, let's do this story. Then we can.
Right.
Okay. The last story you have is Josh Whedon apparently is off Batgirl. Now, now, for the folks at home who don't realize this, we already talked about this about 45 minutes ago here while we were setting up. So Bo knows that we know all of this anyway, but we're going to allow Bo to tell us about it because that's why he's here.
Yes.
Because otherwise I'd have to tell you folks, you should have been here 45 minutes ago, so we're not going to tell you about it.
That's your best bet, folks. Just come into the store.
Come to the store.
We actually talk before we actually tape about subject matter.
Well, then why are we bothering now?
Because they weren't here to hear us talking about it.
Oh my God, he's figured out.
And that wouldn't be fair to them.
They don't do that on Image
Oh,
Union.
you cracked the code, lad.
You watch
cracked
Image
the
Union
code.
too? What the hell? What did you not watch?
Brilliant, Holmes, brilliant.
I don't know what I didn't watch. Watched everything.
Okay, Bo. So I hear because we talked about this.
We did talk.
you heard 45
We've already worked the
minutes ago.
story up.
Hey, Josh Whedon has left Batgirl.
What?
Why?
He says, in his
Oh,
words,
I don't believe him already.
in his words, I didn't have a story. Which comes off as like,
Whoa.
really?
I have to, in a rare moment, I have to correct you.
Yes.
It's not that he didn't have a story.
Yes.
The
I read
story.
this article too.
Okay.
He said he couldn't crack the story.
Okay.
Correct.
Could not.
What was
crack
wrong with the story? He couldn't.
He
crack
wanted
it?
to do.
I mean, there was a story, but he couldn't crack
The
it.
word
What
is
the
he
hell's that mean?
literally wanted to do the Batgirl origin story from the comics in 1967.
That sucks.
Maybe that's why he couldn't
probably why
crack
he
it,
couldn't
comic
crack the
book man.
That sucks.
Then they also said he wanted to do the Gail Simone first Batgirl arc.
So you're going to have a scene where Batgirl takes her cape off and puts it around her waist and it becomes a skirt. Go off to the library.
Hey, why not?
And
Where does she
sell
come
books
from?
with it.
Where does she go?
Oh boy.
Batgirl.
Whose baby are you?
Batgirl.
Whose baby are you?
Whose baby are you?
It could be.
Are you a? Well, how did that go again? Are you a something from
Who
the
are
depths
you?
of outer
What
space?
are you? Where
Are
is
you a
it
creature
go?
Are you
from
a
outer
chick?
space?
Are you
Are
a
you
chick from the
out-
depths of outer space?
Whose baby are you? Yeah, Batgirl.
Batgirl.
You have to.
Who's she have a bird named Charlie?
Yeah, she. You have to admit. Her song was a little more complex than Batman's.
Well, yeah.
Batman's was Batman.
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 Batman. You gotta pay by the
Nana.
word.
Nana.
Batman?
Batman.
You get paid by the
Catchy,
word.
very catchy.
Yes.
You get paid by the consonant and vowel.
Anyway, okay. Josh Whedon can't crack the code.
Okay,
crack it.
okay. This is what I think.
Oh, what do you think?
I think he had a story and
thinks?
Warner didn't like it. That's what I
been
think. I think he had a story and they didn't like the story. He went, I don't need this crap. I'm out of here. That's what I think.
And
Well,
I
you
think
beat
there's-
after Justice League?
and I
Yeah,
think there's-
yeah, that's Justice League. Right.
And there's bad
Right.
blood between Whedon and Warner Brothers over Justice
Yeah, and the fact that the new regime is basically, even though they say we're new, we're here to do stuff. They haven't done anything yet.
League. Give them time. They have to think this stuff through.
They've been doing this for 3 months now, right?
They got to see if Aquaman, if the
Aquaman
bro
is the one
Aquaman
film
is
that
going
will
to catch
save
on.
them. They assume.
Bro
and hope.
Aquaman.
They
Yeah.
hope Aquaman's going to save them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, look, you can. There's no such thing as a bad character. It's bad writing, bad directing,
Squirrel
bad
Girl?
artist.
What you're doing, there's nothing, and you're perfectly right. What you're doing is what Neil Adams always said.
Yeah.
There are no bad characters. It's all in how they're handled.
Yeah.
On the other hand,
Exactly.
There is bad
so
writing.
there's always I actually see a potential for a Batgirl movie.
Yes, there's a potential.
Sure.
Probably
right, yeah.
not in this lifetime because of the mess that's going on with Warner Brothers, but I can actually see them doing that movie to enjoy.
You know, when I heard Josh Whedon was involved, the first thing I thought was, yeah, I could see that on TV. And him just basically buffing Batgirl. You know, putting a group around her, and she has adventures week after week, culminate in one big story arc at the end of each season, and we move on to something new the next season. You know, to make a movie out of it, you can do that. But I think there's a lot more potential there just to make a weekly series out of it. You can roll in all the second string Batman characters, the supporter, and flesh them out, because that's what Whedon does best. You know, fleshes out, characters that really have never had any work done on.
That's
It
too much
might
work
act-
for Warner.
It might actually be a concept that's
Warner
better,
doesn't have to do anything except write him a check.
it might be better suited to a 10-episode.
I mean, look at
Netflix-style
Gotham.
series. Yeah.
I mean, Gotham having characters on there that I basically didn't care about at the time when it was in Batman. Now look at him. I mean, Professor Pig. Oh my God!
Well,
that was one of my favorite storylines.
I was
right
amazed
there.
they did as much as they did with Professor Pig.
They got away with it, yeah.
I mean,
you got a guy in a pig's head, and Gordon on top of a 20-foot long dinner table,
fighting with
butcher
blades.
Butcher blades. And it's like, really? Okay. Well, this is different.
This is unusual.
Okay, well, we got a little bit of time. Black Panther. Let's just
Well,
talk
sure,
about
let's
it.
talk about Black
We got like 3 or 4 minutes. We can talk about Black Panther.
Well, gosh,
Well, what do you
One
want
of
to
us-
talk about?
one of us has-
Rodney, what do you want to say about Black Panther?
I was shocked.
Okay, moving on.
What were you
No,
shocked about?
no,
Wrong. Rodney, Black Panther.
no.
Wrong. Bocepheus, Black Panther. Wrong.
No, look.
JR, Black Panther. Wrong.
No, look. Marvel was doing this thing where Black Panther never struck me as the kind of guy that could carry his own movie. And not only did they knock it out the park, they knocked the grand slam with this movie.
I beg to differ.
Beg to
What?
differ?
This has been talked about on Facebook a lot this week.
As the two white guys, when we just get the hell out of here.
Good.
Black Panther was not that until a guy named Don McGregor did Jungle
I
Action.
read that story.
And that's what made Black Panther a big deal. When Lee and Kirby did Black Panther, it's
Nobody
like,
cared.
he's wearing this little silly ass cape.
Okay, yeah, they did like maybe 2 or 3 issues of them, and then McGregor came in and put him in
McGregor came in and knocked it out the park.
McGregor was the one who did all the background work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lee and Kirby created the character, established the character, and once he was done in the Fantastic Four, he joined the Avengers, where he would show up on a semi-regular basis as part of that team, but nobody had done anything with the character until Jungle Action 5, with when Don McGregor started on the book through 24. And when they talk about, there's that meme that goes around, it drives me crazy, that people were bitching that there weren't enough white folks in the Black Panther comic. And so Jack Kirby, and it wasn't Jack Kirby.
It wasn't Jack Kirby.
It wasn't Jack Kirby. It was Don McGregor.
Yeah.
So he introduces the Klan, and that's where you get your Panther's Rage storyline, where you got the Black Panther fighting the Klan down south. That's where that came from. It had nothing to do with Kirby. Kirby created the character.
But he had nothing to do with the Klan storyline. That
No.
was Don McGregor.
As a matter of fact, when that storyline happened, Kirby was at DC doing Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, he was. He wasn't even he wasn't at Marvel at all. But you have to think Don McGregor did a lot of this. And then Christopher Priest followed it up.
Yeah.
Because there'd be no Everett K. Ross if it was for Christopher
Right,
Priest.
and they did thank them in the credits. I did see Don McGregor and Erik. I did see that in there. I was like, oh, Don McGregor's name up there.
Don McGregor, when he was working back in the 70s, he was a hell of a writer. Don McGregor worked on Killraven, Black Panther. He also did Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. He did when they did the Marvel martial arts magazines. Don McGregor was a big deal, and he was a guy who was basically hanging around the office, and he went, "Hey, you want to write a book? Sure, okay."
Don McGregor was also known for writing a lot of verbal vomit, too.
Oh, man.
You would read Don McGregor's stuff, and he would have 5 times the description that you need in
Don
there
McGregor
to get the story across. And it was tiring reading his stuff.
Don McGregor was the Brian Michael Bendis of his time. Yeah. His scripts were heavy on dialogue.
Oh, I remember those books.
If you wanted to learn a new word, you picked up a Black Panther book because Don McGregor had a word in there. You'd go, damn, I didn't know this word before. Oh, my God.
Okay, anything else on Black Panther?
We
gotta get to wrestling.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to say, as far as Black Panther is concerned, as far as the movie side of it is concerned, it's a rare confluence in a big budget Hollywood tentpole film where a director and screenwriter, Coogler did both, is allowed to have his own voice. And there's no interference. And when you watch the film, you see that because there are a lot of things in there that you don't normally see.
No.
In a superhero film, there's a lot of social commentary going on. The fact that the final fight scene takes place on an actual underground railroad was not lost on me.
Yeah.
That's very rare in a Hollywood film, and I think you see the audience responding to that.
But you also have to give a lot of credit to Joe Cole, because Joe Cole came up with the idea, and Coogler and he worked together to tweak this into what it is. Right. So Cole needs just as much credit as Coogler gets.
But the story itself, if you break that story down in Black Panther, in the movie, it's really nothing new.
No.
Okay? It's a mythical kingdom. This time it's instead of magic, it's technology, father handing down legacy to a son, the evil brother. It's essentially Thor.
This sounds a lot like Frozen.
Oh, well, it's Thor. It's also Thor in another way, too. But it's how it's written that makes all the difference. And performed. That cast is
that actually sounds like a Shakespeare thing.
Well, that Thor comes from that, too. You can roll that back.
Are there songs in it?
No, there's no
songs.
No songs.
No songs.
But that cast, Michael B. Jordan, I mean, come on. My
Yeah,
only regret about that movie is he doesn't really step into it until about halfway
No, because he's there because you got to get the whole legacy thing, and you get
my big complaint about Marvel movies has been villains. Every movie, once you get past Loki, it's like forgettable.
And here's a guy.
Here is a great villain. Yes,
he's a great
yes,
villain. He's a great
definitely. Villain. And that speech he said at the end too.
That
after
speech,
the fight scene, I'm still.
Yeah, I mentioned it on Facebook.
That speech resonated with me.
I can do this. He goes, no, I don't want to do
I'm sitting in the theater after going, damn, did they actually say that in a superhero movie?
That last line that Jordan has in the movie, that literally pushed me back in my seat.
I said, he got it.
Is that where he says DC movies are better than Marvel movies?
No. That was Mark Millar. No, that was Mark Millar going, you know why the DC movies don't work? Because the DC movies have no heart and soul.
Well, it's because they're run by corporations.
Yeah, it's corporations.
But anyway, okay, with that, we're going to take a break. We can come back and do wrestling news. Every Sunday is super at Alternate Reality with our Super Sunday Sale. Each Sunday we pick a different character, family, or publisher, and we discount all of their comics and trade paperbacks 25% off all day long. What we pick for the sale is different each week, but each Sunday you'll save 25% off. And that's all day long, all day Sunday, only at Alternate Reality. Wrestling news. Bo?
Yes?
WWE has been shuffling around their pay-per-views for a while. They have big plans for their pay-per-views. and it involves killing a lot of
What
is that addition by subtraction or something?
No, what they did was they did the dual branding shows. You had a Raw pay-per-view and you had a SmackDown pay-per-view, and you had 5 mixed brand pay-per-views.
You could have seen it.
Well, now after Backlash, which is next month, after WrestleMania, there will be no more dual brand pay-per-views. It'll just be one big show, which means since you're using both shows,
that is a dual brand pay-per-view.
They'll all be dual brand pay-per-views.
Yeah, they'll all be.
Yeah. So basically, it said, well, we're not going to have separate shows, which translates to if you're a reader, if you want to watch the show, you're going to get some 4-hour pay-per-views because you have 2 different brands, which you're going to have to share time.
Oh man, 4-hour pay-per-view.
But that's what WrestleMania and SummerSlam, those are already 4-hour pay-per-views.
Yeah, but the reason why that worked is because that was like an event. WrestleMania 4 hours.
And they're going to push the hell out of this.
Survivor Series 4 hours. Royal Rumble 4 hours. It sounds to me like they may also be trimming.
They cut like a couple shows off, so they already cut. They basically doing 1 a month. They were doing like 2 a month for a while.
They were doing one. It was a pay-per-view every 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, they've cut that down. You're going to get 1 a month, and that's it. So you're going to get less pay-per-views, but you're going to have dual brand shows.
So instead of like 18 pay-per-views, you have 12.
You're going to have 12.
Oh, okay, good. Because some of those pay-per-views, you sit up there and go, okay, what was the significance of this? You could have had this on a regular show.
Because we own the name.
I've got the WWE network, so I mean, pay-per-views don't mean anything to me anymore. It's not like I'm paying for it. I'm paying for the network, but it's just another show.
And you can go 4 hours because, well, I'm not buying satellite time.
Yeah.
It's on my network. I can go as long as I want.
Yeah, but the problem with it being like that then is it's not special anymore.
Yeah.
That's my thing about it. About all these pay-per-views, when they start showing up and they went from went from 4, and then when they bought WCW, they start adding more and more, and I was like, okay, this is what's missing. There's nothing special about every 3 weeks there's another pay-per-view. You had the heavyweight champion had to defend a belt or something. I was like, okay, that's good, but you got 18 pay-per-views, and every time you turn around, the belt is on there defending, and you don't even build up like a hero versus face versus heel storyline because you automatically come into the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Well, storylines started moving a lot faster.
Yeah, they move a lot quicker
because we're churning and burning them.
Because for me, instant right now, I would have really loved to see where the Bray Wyatt and the Woken. I would have loved to see them drag it on because I'm telling you, Matt Hardy is over big time when he did that. I actually went to a TNA event.
What?
Yes.
You was a bet?
Yes, I did. I went to a TNA event and I'm watching the crowd just going delete. I was going,
like, what the hell are they doing?
Is this 500 drunk people yelling delete for this one guy over here who jump off of garbage cans and everything? It's like, are you kidding me?
Yes, it's true.
He was over like that. So now that's going to be over. Then there's a story out there that Brock may or may not be there after WrestleMania. He may go back to.
He's not going back to UFC. That's something that Dana White keeps saying. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, Lesnar's not going back to UFC.
I thought
he's done getting punched in the head now. He might take some more time off.
For one, if he goes back there, he's got to go under suspension. He's got to go into the drug testing program.
That's right.
So it's not going to happen. Dana White may think that it's not going to happen. The only thing about this dual brand thing is now you used to have these NXT takeover shows. What do you do with those? Those are for the big event shows. Now you've got dual brand shows. Are you going to do an NXT takeover every single month?
Ooh.
Or are you going to? You could do it. Those are only 2-hour shows.
Well, no, they just do a secondary show.
Yeah, I mean those are 2-hour shows.
You can do takeover every other month and do some other show, and A/B it across the board.
That makes sense.
Yeah, is Dana White aware that he's basically turning into the Vince McMahon to Vince's WCW back in the 80s?
Oh,
no. People like Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar, they go to MMA, they make a name for themselves, they make a bunch of money for themselves, then they leave and spend the rest of their career over at the WWE, but they've already built up their names with MMA, which is exactly the same thing WCW did. Mm-hmm. They just bought all of WWE's old, worn out, big name talent, and redid everything. Now, not that Vince is going to start doing octagon fights.
No.
But he basically he spends no money on the name because the name is already made. Everybody knows Ronda Rousey when she walks in the door. He hasn't had to do a thing to promote her.
There's an ingrown connection between MMA fighters and wrestling. They all like wrestling. And so when they leave UFC, they always end up going to the WWE. That's just the way it is. And White's fully aware of it. White and Vince are cool. They're actually sociable. They used to hate each other. Now they're like, no, we're cool. We're fine.
Well, I was Vince. Yeah. Who else is retiring?
Yeah.
Who else you got that's retiring?
There's a lot of guys
looking for some new talent.
I can't do this anymore. I'm going to go to the WWE. And White's like, go. Make money. I don't care.
I guess too many hits to the head, and you start going, okay, I need to start doing some backward flips.
Yes,
something.
backward flips are better than hits to the head.
Well,
unless you land on your head.
That's what I've said all along. Which would you rather do? Get hit in the head?
Yeah.
Okay, for real.
Yeah.
Okay, in an octagon for like a half an hour, or pretend to get hit in the head. 3 nights a week.
Sign me up. Where's the check?
I go with the 3 nights a week.
And make as much or not more.
Yeah.
If you catch on.
Well, you're gonna get more merchandising money in the WWE than you are in UFC.
Yeah.
They do T-shirts, but it's not as big as WWE money.
And now, even if you don't make it in the WWE, you can always go to the XFL.
Yeah, you could.
I'm still holding out hope that actually works.
I'm waiting for old broken down MMA fighters to show up
as football players. Oh my god!
Oh, that'll be great.
That's just not.
You know what? Look, I'm like the guy that likes to watch a car accident.
Oh, you're evil.
Oh, you're
I can't help.
You're evil.
You got some good time viewing coming up soon.
Because I'm just literally going to sit there and actually, if I'm off, I'm actually going to just turn on that and get invested in the XFL for a couple of minutes and go, let me see how bad. I mean, it can't be any worse than the NFL. You see how the players they are now, so it can't be worse than that, can it?
You got to wait till 2020.
Okay. And that's it for wrestling news. We're going to take a break.
Wake up, Jared!
Oh, what?
We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with the Rorschach test. And I'm gonna give you guys a hint. I'm going to cheat for you guys.
You got to cheat.
And I'm going to throw you a big bone.
How can you
right?
cheat at the Rorschach test?
I'm going to throw you guys a great big bone right in the middle of the table.
Located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood, Alternate Reality is the only brick-and-mortar store that discounts all new comics 15% off every day for everyone, and that's been since 1994. And all brand new first issues are discounted at 25% off every new Comic Wednesday. So stop on down and save some money.
And we're back. Okay, Rorschach test. Folks, I'm going to give you a word or a name, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Obviously, one of you is going to be last, so you're going to have to bury that in your head, your first thought. Okay? But tell me, what is the very first thing you think of when you hear the name Erik Killmonger? I told you I was going to throw you a bone. Erik Killmonger. We're going to start with you, Rod.
Let me see.
What's
the
first thing that comes to your mind?
Told me I didn't know I was be the first one.
First thing that comes to your mind. What is it? Hot dog? What is it?
Underrated.
Underrated. Okay.
Underrated. Without giving out the review of seeing Black Panther, the comic character Erik Killmonger was basically like a throwaway character, like say for instance Spider-Man Rogues Gallery.
Are you telling me a B-level character like Black Panther would have a C-level Rogues Gallery? I don't believe
that. But when you go see this movie, you actually are siding with Killmonger in this movie for a little bit.
You do realize in the Luke Cage comic, there's a reason why Dr. Doom showed up in the 6th issue.
Yeah,
I can't help it because I like Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is Dr. Doom. He's evil. No, I'm saying that this character here did a total 360 from the comic character, and you actually sitting up there going, you know what, Killmonger is actually right. I mean, he's a mercenary killer. Don't get me wrong. He does kill.
He's just coming at it. He has good ideas, but he's coming at it from the
wrong way. Right. Exactly. And that's that thing that Marvel does. You have these characters that not just black or white. There's a gray area to him. And Killmonger, the Michael B. Jordan character in this movie, it's gray all over there. And you actually sit up there and you see it. You sit up there and go, you know what? He does have a point there. You guys are sitting up there with all this technology here. You doing this.
Spoiling.
No.
I'm not finished.
I should point out, folks, there may be some spoilers coming.
Yes.
There may be some spoilers.
Go see Black Panther. You will understand what I meant by underrated.
Okay. Bo?
There.
Magneto.
You think of Magneto?
He's Magneto.
Exactly.
Magneto's not a villain. Magneto has a point. Magneto has a goal. He's not a villain. Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom's not a bad guy. Dr. Doom's he runs Wakanda. He's not really a villain.
Wait a minute.
Dr.
Doom.
I
call BS on that one. That's BS on that one. Dr. Doom's villain all the way through.
To him, he's not a villain.
Okay.
Well, to every villain, they're not villains.
Okay. Let me pick Marvel knowledge on you there, sir.
Let's
not go deep.
I'm not going that deep. I'm not
going nerd talk.
Oh, he thinks he's smarter than Reed Richards.
And
Dr. Doom?
Yes,
Of course
victim.
he does.
Victim of Doom thinks he's smarter than Reed Richards.
Of course he does. That's
His mother's
motivation.
souls are sold to the devil. He's figuring, I got to find a way to get that back. And he wants to take over the world by any means necessary.
And
now, because he's supposedly nice to the country that he runs over there, you saying he's not a villain?
But think of what you
Nice to the country.
think of what you just said.
Yes.
He's trying to save his mother from hell.
She sold her soul to the
And
devil.
that's not the point. Evil.
He's evil as hell.
He doesn't think he's a villain.
All
That's why I say
villains
Magneto.
think that.
Well,
All villains think that. The difference between Killmonger and what you're saying is that Killmonger is looking for the betterment of his own people.
right.
Exactly.
And I
And,
think
and that's why I said Magneto.
that speaks more to the relatability of it as well. I mean, you could talk about saving your mother from hell or
Yeah.
whatever you want to go with that. That's not the most relatable thing in the world. With Killmonger, that it makes him less of a villain and more a person who misunderstands a situation.
Relatable. He's more
Yeah,
relatable
exactly.
because to him he thinks what he's doing.
But
is
then
fine.
again, I'm coming from this.
Well, going back to what Marvel set up a long time ago with what you're talking about with Magneto, is he Malcolm X to Martin Luther King in Wakanda?
That's probably not a bad analogy.
It's not a bad analogy at all.
Yeah, especially like I said, that speech he said at the end, which I'm not going to give away, it totally made the character into a four-dimensional character as opposed to...
There's a justifiable reason for why he is who
Exactly.
he is.
And he says it right there at the end. The fight in the Underground Railroad, that fight, while he's fighting T'Challa, he's basically telling point blank why he should be king and why T'Challa shouldn't be king. And you sit up there going, this guy actually has a point, even though he's a killer. Not unlike Dr. Doom, who's just basically evil.
Who sheds a tear when the World Trade Center
Yes,
comes
when the World Trade Center crashes, Dr.
He
Doom
cried.
sheds a tear.
Really?
Even though he probably killed 500,000 people.
He killed him. He goes, I was bad, but I wasn't this bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually,
I remember.
I remember many Fantastic Four stories where you'd send orbiting platforms into space
Thank
to wipe
you.
out all life.
What about the Baxter building? He sent in space just to blow it up.
Yeah, that was some pretty self-serving stuff on Marvel. But getting back to the for me, I'm gonna preface what my reaction, my Rorschach test answer by saying I'm coming at this with no Marvel comic background into the character or Black Panther or anything, and my first response is Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
When I hear Erik Killmonger, because that, as Rod said, it's a C-level character.
Yes.
And tying that into what I said earlier about Marvel having trouble with villains in their movies, this is an A-level villain.
Yeah.
In a Marvel movie now, and that's due to two things. It's Michael B. Jordan and it's Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, Ryan Coogler. And Michael B. Jordan popped up in The Wire. First time people saw him in The Wire. Yeah. And he was excellent in The Wire. And he's had a great career. He hasn't done anything crappy
But it is that notion
wait a minute. He first started off on soap operas.
Okay, well, whatever. Wherever he started.
But a lot.
I'm sure he did TV commercials.
First time I saw him was Fruitvale Station. That's
first time I saw him was on The
And
Wire.
they said this kid has something. And now look at him. It's like...
Yeah. And he and Coogler are doing something else. They're doing something after this. These two are hooked up. This is Scorsese and DiCaprio. They can keep working together.
Probably, yeah. And good.
Okay, but and I've said before, I haven't seen the movie yet.
What are you waiting for?
I think I'm seeing it tomorrow, but I'm not sure. I have a hot water heater to change tomorrow. By the way, surprise! I have a hot water heater to change tomorrow.
What's wrong with hot water?
What's the first thing you think of when you hear hot water heater?
It's leaking. Yes, what's the first thing? My Sunday shot to hell. That's the first thing I think. Erik Killmonger, everything with him is centered around Wakanda, right?
Yeah.
So while he may be an A-level villain, he's basically someone who's never going to get out of Wakanda, right? I mean, he's not Loki, he's not Dr. Doom. He's
Without giving away.
Well, yeah, like I said, I haven't.
No, he ain't getting out of Wakanda.
No.
Well, no, I mean in that his focus is Wakanda.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not looking at world domination. He's not looking.
No. Oh no, he was. He was because he did say without giving away too much. He basically said that he was taking over Wakanda because we wanted to free his people, and instead of freeing them, we need to take this blank over. We're going to take over the world because we should have been doing this a long time ago. And you guys, Wakandans, are sitting up in here with all this technology, but you're sitting around. Keep giving away the freaking movie.
But he's not going to take over the world for the insidious means of taking over the world. He wants to take over the world to use the technology that Wakanda has to correct any problems the world may have.
Yeah.
That's what makes it more.
And I'm also picking up that he feels that him and his people have been put upon. That has a lot to do with it.
They've been repressed.
Repressed.
Yeah. Okay.
They've been repressed.
Well, and I don't think this is going to be giving anything away because I'm sure it's the same motivation as in the comic. Wakanda is basically isolated itself from the rest of the world because
they're sitting on a big
vibranium,
ton of vibranium, and they have all of this extraordinary technology that heals people, cures people.
Because of the vibranium?
Flying cars.
Due to the vibranium, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But in the comics, they've secluded themselves away from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And they've gone, I don't want to say a different evolutionary track, but they are much more advanced than the rest of the world is.
Yeah, for sure.
But part of that is because they've isolated
It's almost like their prime
So
directive.
they're at a point now where should we re-enter the world or shouldn't we?
The world is encroaching.
Okay.
Should we reveal ourselves or keep pretending we're not here?
Well, I'd put a goddamn dome up and leave it.
That worked for a
And you get the Christopher Priest thing. Nobody messes with Wakanda. You go, we're gonna start a war with Wakanda. What are you, insane?
Wasn't that
They'll
was
kill us.
That was also the book where Reggie Hunter took over.
Yeah, Captain
and
America.
He had Captain America come down there, and Captain America gets his butt kicked by Black Panther.
Yeah, the first couple of pages they show the history of exploration, quote unquote, on the African continent, and as each world power finds Wakanda and tries to take it over, they get their asses handed to them. Right up into World War II, when Cap shows up and says, "Yeah, the U.S. government sent me here. We'd like to have your help with fighting the Nazis." And basically, it's well, we're isolationists. Leave us alone. We really need your help. Here's a punch in the face for you, Cap. And then Black Panther handed him his ass.
Yeah, beat it.
Of course, that was Captain America after only having been on the job for a couple of days.
Oh, get out of here! We're still Captain America with the super soldier serum. You see this?
Well, and the triangle shield. And the triangle shield.
I don't care. I knew he was going to say that. I don't care. He was still Captain America. Can't give the brothers anything, huh? You really can't.
Yeah,
you really can't.
Yeah, that's me. I spent most of my life keeping down the black man. That's what I do here. Yeah.
Well, remember now. Captain America, the super soldier theorem. And
I hope you enjoyed your 25% off on your comics.
I did. Thank you very
Black Panther
much.
had the
I'll
Lotus
be back in
I hope I didn't oppress you too much with that discount.
So there is a hookup between the two of them. They both got their powers, their ability, extra abilities, through chemical means.
Yeah.
Well, Black Panther's is naturals, and Captain America was stuff in the lab. There's a big difference.
Well, Black Panther's mysticism involved too. I mean, it's the whole Black Panther totem.
It's the Lotus.
Yeah.
I mean, there's mysticism.
It's not like some guy sit up there doing like this, go, "Oh, here we go. We're gonna make you a super."
The movie represents it almost like a Lee Fawkes Phantom type of scenario.
Yeah, it does.
The mantle is handed down from
father to son, father to son, father to son, father to son. And if you follow the comic continuity...
Patrick McGowan in it?
No.
He is not. He is not.
If you follow the comic continuity, then it would also be Pan... Yeah, it's one of his best cameos.
That was a good one.
It also is passed on to the daughters because his sister will be going through the ritual as well.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that Stan Lee, I know we're running short of time. That Stan Lee cameo, did that segment of the movie not feel a little James Bondish to you guys?
It was exactly James Bondish, and that was the goal. Yeah. It was like, this is a Bond movie.
Yeah.
So how about Ryan Coogler directs a James Bond movie with Idris Elba?
Yeah. Well, Elba's already said he has no
interest
won't do
anymore.
Right, he says I've moved on.
Put enough zeros in front of him.
No. He says I've moved on.
Okay, and that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Be sure to stop off the store's website, myalternatereality.com, where you can read all of JR's reviews, you can read all of Bo's news, and you can sort of get a vague feeling of Rod having been on the website and having read it before you got there.
He's looking at it right now. What are you talking about?
As always, the show's coming to you from Alternate Reality, located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are 15% off every day for everyone. Stop on down. And until next time, this is Comicbookman.
And this is JR.
This is Ryan Flash.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah, Wakanda forever. Saying
goodbye.
Bye. Thanks a lot for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please like and share it with all your friends. We value your feedback, so drop us a question, comment, show idea, or complaint either at arcomics@msn.com or, if provided, in the comments section down below on this platform. The opinions expressed in this episode are solely those of the individuals and not necessarily those of Alternate Reality Incorporated. This show is, as always, coming to you from the Alternate Reality Comic Shop, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, serving Chicago comics fandom since 1994.